news, and views on the Lowcountry real estate scene. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. So we're talking about, really the market today. We're talking about the state of the market and just how different it is depending upon which area of Charleston you live, and the strategies that some agents are using to get your listing. Not everybody has the intent of doing what's right for you and selling your home for the most money possible. Some people are going to be self-interested and they're just going to do what they need to do to get your listing so that they can get a marketing opportunity out of it to help them grow their business. And sometimes I struggle with saying things like this on the radio, but it's the truth. You guys deserve the truth. You need to know what's going on out there. And I'm really happy to be in this position to share with you and kind of be your window into the real estate world. It's not just about, facts and figures here on the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. It's about educating you and preparing you for the road ahead if you're going to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And so I want to continue our discussion about that. And then a little bit later on in the program, the tail end here, we're going to talk about what you need to do if you're a buyer right now. How do you need to approach this market? So that's coming up next. But, again, if you want to reach out to me, you want to talk about this process in greater detail, you want to find out what the value of your home is right now and what you could get for it if it were to sell in the next 30 or 60 days, feel free to give me a call. My number is 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. Call or text that number or go to listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Learn more about myself and my team and who we are, what we do. Search the MLS, find out an automated valuation on your home. Listen to previous versions of the show. We've got, hundreds of shows on there for the past 6 years that we've been doing this. And also want to give a shout out to Michael Santelli of Guaranteed Rate for being a sponsor on this program and for being a fantastic partner for us. He does an incredibly good job of walking our buyer clients through the process of getting a mortgage, helping them better understand what they need to do, why they need to do it, how to prepare for the process, and how to get the best terms, interest rate, loan product, and potentially save thousands of dollars on your mortgage over the life of the loan. So if you want to reach out to him, the best way to do that is to go online, listingsincharleston.com, and just send us a message. We'll put you right in touch with him. So let's continue this discussion here about overpriced listings and what happens as a seller when you overprice your listing. And the first thing I want to say is that you need to understand that when you first go on the market, you are marketing to two different groups of people. Group number one are the people that are ready, willing, and able to buy a house right now. They are watching, Zillow and Truly on Realtor.com and all these different websites. They're watching the market like a hawk. They're waiting for that next property to hit the market. And if they like it, they're going to go and see it. And if they like it enough after they've seen it, they're going to make an offer. So that's group number one. That's the hot group. The second group are the people that just enter the market every day. Right? There's always going to be some element of showings on your listings so long as you're somewhat reasonably priced because new people enter the market every day. Something changes in their life. They have a job and they're moving to the area, or they've just found out they're having their third kid and now they need more space. Maybe they're downsizing after the kids have gone off to college, whatever the case might be. And this is obviously a very busy time of year because people are starting the process now if they want to get settled before school starts in the summer. And so if you're thinking about making a move now and you're trying to accomplish that for yourself and your family, then we really need to have a conversation fairly quickly because the typical turnaround time from the time that you kind of first engage a real estate agent until the time that you either find a property you want to buy or find a buyer for your home is usually somewhere around 90 days. I mean, on my team, our average days on market is 19 days. Our homes sell for 98.5% of asking price. But when you break it out, a third of our listings sell in a week or less. Another third of them sell in 30 days or less. And then the other third sell in more than 30 days. But that's also because we represent all different kinds of buyers and sellers. Everybody from the first-time home buyer and seller to multi-million-dollar properties. And obviously those properties have very different characteristics and market trends that you need to be aware of. Which is why when I'm reading these stats, you have to take that with a grain of salt because, I could say in Charleston County what's going on, but there are so many different types of properties in Charleston County that what's the point of even telling you what's going on in that market because it's so darn different. So let's get back to what happens when you first hit the market. You're going to get the most amount of showings in the first 30 days or so, because that's when you have both group 1 and group 2 looking at your house. At some point in time, showings will taper off. You're going to exhaust that first group of people, those hot buyers. They're going to say, I've seen your property online. I chose not to see it or not see it because obviously everybody's looking at different things. And some homes are going to appeal to some buyers and some homes are just not. It doesn't matter if they're ready, willing, and able. They just don't like your house. It doesn't fit their needs. That's fine. But if you're getting showings, here's what you really need to understand is that when you're having a conversation with the agent that's going to list your property, they should be giving you very specific targets that you need to hit. They need to be building the expectations around what we should be getting in the form of traffic, not just in the form of showings, but also online traffic, because that's the precursor to showings, and we're really good at that. So let's say that in an average market, in an area that still represents kind of a hot market, but let's just the lower price range properties. Let's say Somerville, $250,000 to $400,000. If you've been with us throughout this entire program so far, you know that that's a very hot market right now. So if you get let's say that the target is 10 showings in the first month. If you don't get 10 showings in the first month, and you've almost exhausted that first group of people, then it makes sense to make a price adjustment. Or if you've gotten 10 showings without an offer, it makes sense to make a price adjustment. Or if you're not getting the number of showings you're supposed to be getting, and other people are getting the showings, but you're not, then you have to read between the lines and understand that those buyers, there is a reason why they're not coming to see your house. Unless your house is totally unique and in an area that just doesn't have a lot of activity, or it's in a really high price range where there are fewer buyers, then you need to make some sort of an adjustment. Again, and let me just say as a caveat that this is all dependent upon your goals and your situation. If you're the average seller that wants to sell your home in a reasonable amount of time for the most money possible, and you have created a target that you're supposed to hit and you're not hitting it, then there should be some sort of plan associated with that. If we're going to do the same thing and expect different results, then we're just fooling ourselves. The other thing that you need to understand is that sellers, if they're not having this conversation with their agent, they are going to be tricked into thinking that the amount of showings they get in the first month is the amount of showings that they're going to get in perpetuity. So if you have this huge rush of people in the first 30 days, but you didn't get an offer, and you don't make some sort of adjustment when those showings start to taper off, when they start to reduce, then all you're doing is getting further and further away from what that property might actually sell for. Because the first month's worth of showings are kind of artificially inflated. That doesn't really represent the average number of showings that you're going to get over, say, 90 days. You're going to get a bunch of them in the first 30 days, less in the next 30 days, and less in the next 30 days, if you don't make some sort of an adjustment. Homes on the market are like cars out on a dealership. For every day that it's on the lot, the value depreciates a little bit. So likewise, the longer a home sits on the market, the more perceived value is lost. If no offers are made, or if you're not getting your showings, the home is just likely listed too high, or there's something that you chose not to do from a condition standpoint, which is why you're also going to monitor the recurring feedback that you're getting from the people that walk through the door. And I can't tell you the number of times I've had conversations with sellers where, we have the discussion at the beginning of the listing about, hey, here's our target. Here's what is going on in your market right now. We should be doing as good or better than that to lead us to believe that we're positioned correctly. But as you've heard throughout this program, there are markets that are shifting downward. The power is shifting away from the seller. Price increases across the board are up 15% because our market is starting to level off. It's starting to stagnate a little bit. And that's the worst kind of market to be in. I'd rather be in a market that's going up or in a market that's going down. But when a market is flat, it causes indecision. And it's very hard to get over that if you're a buyer or a seller. And that's, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of is what it is. You want data to go off of. You want to know where the market is headed. And if an agent isn't really plugged into the market, or they don't know how to monitor that data and show you the trend that's happening through their own experience, then you're at a bit of a disadvantage, quite honestly, because real estate data in and of itself, the very nature of real estate data is seasoned quite a bit. You know, it's old data that people make decisions off of, which is why we say that if you're trying to time the market, you know, by the time you know that the bottom is hit or the top is hit, it's already too late because data lags. So when you're on the market and you're trying to decide if your home is overpriced or not, you have to keep these questions in mind. Number one, how many showings have we had in relation to the average number of showings in our market and price range? Number two, are the number of showings we're getting on average increasing or decreasing? You know, maybe there was a few weeks where we had a bit of an anomaly. There was definitely an anomaly in our market in the latter part of March, beginning part of April. It was weird to see the number of showings go down kind of across the board in a lot of the different markets that we serve. So that's something to take into consideration. But, you know, have you gotten any offers? So many sellers wait for agents consistently to say, or buyers consistently to say, you're overpriced. And feedback is kind of a separate discussion that I could talk at length about, but the short, I guess, version of that is you have to take feedback with a grain of salt. If you're monitoring the feedback and you're relying solely on the feedback to determine your course of action as a seller or as an agent representing a seller, you're basing that decision off of the assumption that the agent is actually asking the buyer what they thought about each property after they've walked through it and then relaying the information to the seller. So many times agents just don't care to gather feedback. Oh, we don't like this. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Rather than, well, tell me what you didn't like about it. Because at that point, the agent feels like, hey, the buyer's not going to buy it anyways. Let's just go to the next one. Rather than doing what a really good buyer agent should do, which is tell me some of the things that you don't like about this house so that next time we don't walk through a house like this. You know, I want to get closer and closer to what your ideal home looks like rather than just coach you that, hey, if we look at 10 homes a day for the next 6 weekends, eventually we'll find something you like. Nobody wants to see 60 houses. You want to know which ones are the best ones for you as soon as they become available so that you have the best chance at getting them. So as you're going through this process of having your home on the market and you're relying solely on feedback, those agents might just be throwing feedback in there to get the feedback requests that we are sending them consistently just to go away. I mean, so many agents, if they've shown 15 properties over the past 3 days, you know, our system automatically sends them an email every 24 hours if they haven't given us feedback. And so usually what agents will do is, you know, when they wake up in the morning and they check their email, they're deleting like 40 feedback request forms. And they don't remember what the house looked like or what the buyer said anyways. So the feedback at that point becomes invalid. So what you need to be measuring is the number of showings you're getting in relation to the average number of showings in your market, and are you getting offers? And of course, are there any consistent messages that you're not reacting to when you receive that showing feedback? So if you want more information on the value of your home, you're thinking about selling and you want to get the price right, you want to sell it for the most money possible, which requires not only the correct pricing strategy, but the ability to create the most attractive property possible. We do a free pre-listing home inspection. We do free staging. We do professional photography, videography, a huge online marketing campaign, social media campaign, all that stuff to drive traffic to your site that we create for your house and your home in general. If you'd like more information on that process, we'd love the opportunity to earn your business. My number is 843-345-1273. Again, that's 345-1273. Or go to our website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Stick around, folks. We have a few minutes left on the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Visit Brian Beatty's website at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.